Hello, welcome all to our course Food Processing Waste Management. So, in the previous lecture, we have discussed various methods used for the management of solid waste that is generated from food processing industry. So, in previous lecture, we have seen methods solid waste management like donating the solid waste to the charities like food donation, then converting into other forms by using aerobic processes or by hydrolysis, liquefaction, gasification, incineration or briquetting into so that it can be used as a fuel, or it can be used as a animal feed. So we have seen various methods to manage the solid waste generated from food processing industries. In this lecture we are going the liquid waste management part. So in previous section we have seen solid waste management. In this lecture we will discuss liquid waste management. Liquid waste management. So there are different sources that contribute to the generation of wastewater in food processing industry. These include meat processing, dairy products processing, milk processing, seafood and fish processing, fruits and vegetable processing, starch and gluten products like biscuits, bakery products like cake, chocolates, confectionery, sugar processing, alcoholic and non-alcoholic beverages, and bean products. So there are different types of products produced by these food processing industries, and all these industries produce waste during their washing. If you talk about fruits and vegetable processing, or during the cleaning, CIP cleaning in place, or during processing, they generate huge amount of water as a waste. So these wastewaters released from food processing industries are turbid with high concentration of biological oxygen demand because the utensils or the food that are used have this organic material. So this organic materials are responsible for this turbid nature as well as high biological concentrations, biological oxygen demand, fats, oils and grease, suspended solids, and usually nitrogen and phosphorus. So these are the components of the wastewaters that generated from the food processing industries. You can see the other characters also like large seasonal variation. So if you look at any food processing industry, there is variation in the wastewater produced by the same industry with respect to seasons due to change in production plannings or due to change in raw materials. When you talk if you take the example of a mango processing industry, pulp processing industry, you can see there will be large production of wastewaters during the summer season where the production of mangoes is very high or its peak. When in winters or in rainy seasons, there will be less amount of wastewaters produced from the pulp processing industries, and there will be variation in the composition of the wastewaters also. Large hourly variation and concentration in daytime, depending upon the time of processing. Also, there will be variation and in the concentration of the wastewaters, and factories are often of small scale, sometimes unbalanced ratio of BOD, that is biochemical oxygen demand, nitrogen, phosphorus, that induces the bulking of sludge and colored effluent. So these are the various other characteristics of the waste that is generated from liquid waste that is generated from food processing industries. So decreasing the pollutant load of wastewater requires. So if you want, the main threat we have discussed in previous lectures from the waste generated from food processing industries is the environmental pollution. So if you want to decrease the load of pollutants, you need to reduce the water consumption and environmental pollutants usage in your processing, as well as reduction of the opportunity for interaction between the two, that is the wastewater and the pollutant. This may be accomplished by following measures: reducing the amount of washing water for raw materials and reusing the water. So whatever the water used in the washing of raw materials, especially in case of fruits and vegetables, that can be reused, recycled after giving few treatments, as well as mechanical separation and obtaining concentrated wastewater by saving processing water, minimization of overspills during bottling process. This bottling process, especially we talk about this soft drinks require washing of the bottles, as well as during their bottling also, bottling process also there is over spillage. So this all leads to the increased wastewaters. Similarly, reducing the amount of water used to wash tanks and containers after preparation. So these are the various measures that can be used to decrease the pollutant load of wastewaters. Typically, the wastewater is subjected to pH adjustment and chemical or physical processes, sometimes biological processes, that cause the pollutants to form flocks for subsequent removal. So, to remove these pollutants from water, there are physical treatments, chemical treatments, and sometimes biological treatments also. So, these physical treatments include this adjustment of pH, separation of this last suspended matter from the wastewaters by simple filtration techniques like sedimentation, flotation techniques. And there are chemical treatments also used to adjust the pH of the wastewaters, and there are biochemical process such as activated sludge process, which uses bacteria to form to coagulate this dissolved and colloidal solids present in the waste. Sometimes advanced treatment systems are used such as coagulation and filtration, or other innovative technologies like membrane filtration are used to treat the wastewater that is generated from the food processing industries. So if you talk about physical treatments, sedimentation or flotation usually forms the first stage of effluent treatment depending on the particular effluent. So if your effluent contains, say, high amount of fats or grease, so then flotation is usually done to collect the fat on the top of the flotation tank and to remove it. Flotation must be carried out where the fat may be recovered and recycled within the process. So that is continuing with physical treatment, production process starting with dirty raw materials such as washing of roots vegetables produce an effluent with high TSS because the surface solids of these vegetables are will be dissolved in the water, and so the high TSS is there. A sedimentation or grit tank is needed in this instance, which is used to separate these grits or the solids. For disposal, the grit may be removed from the tank by a jog conveyor and be dumped into a skip either back onto the farmland if relatively uncontaminated or by landfill. So here you can see in this slide there is a grit tank. You can see these are the grit particles. This is a sedimentation tank where you can collect the grits. Following either of these pre-treatments, the effluent should be collected into balanced tanks. So here, as we said, there is a we have discussed the characteristics of the wastewater. So there are variations in the composition of the wastewater are releasing from a single same industry. So to match this, there are these waste is collected into balanced tanks. So balancing tanks serve to even out the fluctuations in the properties of the wastewaters in following way. So balancing tanks are used to even out the fluctuations in the incoming wastewater from the industry by mixing both mixing is done to aid standardization and to maintain an aerobic environment, thus reducing generation of off orders. Treating with calcium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide has been used to raise the pH or to adjust the pH. Hydrochloric acid is used to lower the pH if the pH is higher. Sodium hydroxide is used as the principal cleaning agent and normally results in alkaline effluent in balancing tank. So we will stop our discussion in this with this slide, and we will continue this discussion in the next video.